right, here we go. Using the MA method and the area model to factor. So what you're going to be allowed to use on your quiz after the opener are those blue sheets, your yellow note sheets, and your calculator, okay? So I went ahead and put the notes on the opener just to kind of refresh us since we didn't get an opportunity to do this yesterday because of Star 360. So step 1 says determine the M and the A. Now you guys should all have these in your yellow notes how it is. For the M, we're going to take the first coefficient times the third coefficient. So what is my first coefficient?
6.
And what's my third coefficient?
8.
So I'm going to take my first coefficient, 6, times my third coefficient, 8, and I'm going to multiply them together. What do I get when I get that?
48.
Okay. Then it goes on to say A is your second coefficient. So what's my second coefficient? 19. Good. So there's step 1. We just completed step 1. Bam, check it off, done. Step 2, find the numbers that multiply to M and add to A. So how you use that blue sheet, look, don't put your, hey guys, and you're not the only one that does it, do not put variables with your M and A because you're only doing coefficients. So no variables at this part yet, okay? So step 2 says find your M and A. So you're going to look on your sheet, you're going to look for 48. Which of those factors can then add up to get your A? Which of those factors can add up to get to 19? Say what?
3 and 16.
3 and 16.
To get the what?
The A. So what you're looking at, you look at your M. Where's your blue sheet? So you look for your M, which is 48. Which of those then add together to get your A? So which of these then add together to get your 19? And it would be 3 plus 16.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there was step 2. Step 2 is done. Step 3, write the areas in each of the boxes using the numbers from step 2 for the top right and bottom left boxes. So we're going to take these two numbers from the MA and use it for my top right and bottom left box. It does not matter which number you put in your top right and your bottom left. Now, if you do the opposite of me, our answers will just be reversed, and that's okay. So what number do you want to put in my top right? Which number do you want to put in the top right? Okay. Wait, which number do we want to put in our top right? We're using the... So we're using these two numbers, because that's what it says from step 2. Those two numbers go in the top right and bottom left. What? 16. And then, so then bottom left? 3. Now, if you guys recall, when we were doing our area models at the very beginning, this 19E was 16 and 3. They were like terms. What made 16 and 3 like terms? What variable do they have with it? What variable needs to go with it? So we're going to go ahead and put that E with it. And then the rest of that step, we're going to put in the rest of the areas. So what's the area of my first box here?
60 squared.
Okay, and then the last one.
8.
Good. Okay, step 3 is complete. Now I'm going to go to step 4. Step 4 reads, factor the top row of the rectangles using the greatest common factor. So I'm going to look at my top row here. The terms that I'm using are 6 and 16. So I'm going to factor those out. So 6 and 16. So I'm going to make my factor trees. Now, just looking, you can still choose to stack your 6 and 16 up, or you can look and see what number do they share. What number does 6 and 16 share? 2. Do they share anything else? Okay, what about variables? So what's my greatest common factor going to be? It's going to be 2, what? Do they share a variable? That's E squared and 16E. What do they share?
They share 2.
They share what? A 2.
Oh, E.
E. That becomes the height. Okay? So when you find the greatest common factor of the top row, if you guys remember from last week, the greatest common factor becomes our height. So there's step 4. And now we're ready to complete step 5. Step 5 says complete the model. So we have enough information now to complete the model. What am I going to do next in order to complete this model? What am I looking for?
The other height,
Not the other height,
the length.
the length. So if I have the height and the total area, I can find the length. So what's my length for my top left?
3.
3 what?
E.
That is correct. So if that's my length for my rectangle at the top, it's also going to be the length for what? For the bottom. So I'm going to bring that on down. And remember, length goes second. So now I can find the length for my second rectangle. So 2e times what gets me to 16e? 8. So that's the length for my top rectangle. It's also going to be the length for my bottom. All right, now what missing information do I need? The bottom what? Height, yeah. So we think to ourselves, what times 3e equals 3e? 1. Does 1 times 8 equal 8? So then we know the height for the bottom is 1. So step 5 is complete. The only step I did not add on there is to then write your final answer. What is your final answer?
2e plus 3e.
2e plus
1
times.
3e plus 8.
Perfect. So your height times your length. Good. So basically you just factored this expression. So if you would multiply this binomial together, you'd end up getting that. So that's your quiz. Now, I did not make this a high point quiz, you guys. I made it worth 5 points. What I'm looking for, you get a point for your MA. You get a point for finding the right greatest common factor. You get a point for labeling your area model correctly. So 1, 2, 3. You get a point for the correct answer, 4. And then you get a point for having your height and widths in the correct order. Okay? So it's not a high point quiz. It's 5 points. All right, flip them over. Let's take a look at the back. All right. Hannah, get me started. Okay, perfect. Equals? And then the next step? Good. So Hannah just did step 1 for me. Jenna, complete step 2 for me.
You find two numbers that will add up to 11. It's 3 and 8.
Okay, so if I take 3 times 8, that'll equal 24, because those are the factors of 24. But if I take 3 plus 8, that's going to equal my A of 11. Okay, that was step 2. Step 3, Logan, what do I do with this information I just found?
Put in the
Oh, factor.
in the bottom.
Where at? Do you want to? You can show me too if it's easier for you to show me.
The top, the long box.
Okay, that's fine. Top right. What do you want me to put there?
8,
Okay, and
3, on the bottom.
Would it be E?
and then what variable goes with them?
2E.
E.
E.
Good. Now fill in the rest of my areas. What's my first area? Yes.
4e squared.
To answer your question, Maddie. 4e squared. And bottom right area?
6.
6. Okay, good. That step's complete. My next step then says to do what?
I got stuck on this one because like 3.
You don't even worry about that yet. So, Maddie, tell me what you did next.
Well,
Which you found that, which is correct.
yeah.
What did you do for that?
Oh, well, since it equals 4E, I just see what multiplies to 4, so 2, and then it's E squared, so it'd be 2E. On the height and length.
So you basically found the greatest common factor.
Yeah.
And so she saw that both the 4 and the 8 shared a single 2, and they also shared the variable e. So the greatest common factor becomes my height of 2e.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after we find the greatest common factor of the top row, we can find the rest of the information. So I fill in the rest of my area model. So what am I going to fill in for this missing information here? What goes here? Oh, wait, is that right?
Wait, shouldn't it be you circle 2 2s?
What else do they have in common, you guys? What did I miss?
2 2s.
Another set of 2's, right? So really, the greatest common factor is
4.
4e. Sorry.
Why can't I do 3?
Hold on, let me answer that question for you in just a second. What did you ask me?
Why did you do 4 instead of 3?
Because the 3 and 8, put an e there. The 3 and 8 are the areas.
Yeah.
Now we, on the next step, step 4 says find the greatest common factor of your top row. So then I did my factor trees right here like what you did. So they have a 2 and a 2 in common, which is 4. So the greatest common factor is 4e. Now what information can I find from here, you guys?
Length.
Okay, tell me how to do that, Ben.
4 times 40 times 1 equal 40 squared.
So 4e times 1e equals 4e squared. Okay, so that's my height, or excuse me, my length for my rectangle. And then what about the next one?
4e times 2.
So that is going to be the length for my second rectangle. Now that I know the length of my second rectangle, or for my rectangles, what can I fill in for my bottom?
3.
No, if I know the length for my rectangles up above, what can I fill in down here?
Oh, 1e.
The length, right? So the 1e length comes down. What else? What other length comes down?
1e.
What other length comes down?
3e.
What?
Oh, sorry. 2.
2. And now we're looking for the, what are we looking for now, you guys?
The height.
The height. So what times 1e will equal 3e?
3.
Does 3 times 2 equal 6?
Yep.
Yep, so then I know that my height is 3. And the best part is writing the final answer, because that means I am concluding this opener. All right, so what's my final answer here?
4e plus 3 parentheses around them. 1e plus 2.
Nice job.